Hello, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Ryobi p4500 18 volt telescoping power scrubber. So let's get started. Starting off at the rear of the tool, we have the battery housing, which is water resistant. It can house an 18 volt battery up to the size of 4 amp hours. To release, simply pull up on the gray part of the latch and unhook the silver latching mechanism. And then you can insert your battery. The biggest battery that you can use with this telescoping power scrubber with the waterproof housing latched is a 4 amp hour battery. Moving forward, we have the hand grip and the power button. The power button is directly below the water resistant rubber, and in order to power the tool, you can either hold the button or you can push it in fully and the tool will stay activated. And the tool will stay active until either the button is pressed again or the battery is drained. Moving further up, we have the adjustable handle, which is also the fatal flaw of this tool. Moving further up again, we have the telescoping locking mechanism, which is a simple twist style locking mechanism. Once you have the desired length, you simply tighten it and it will stay at the proper length. It is fairly secure and there will be zero adjustment up or down. And at the front of the tool, we have the head. The head can be locked into 6 different positions to give you different angles for different surfaces that you might be working on. To adjust the position of the tool head, you simply press the large whitish gray button and then put it into the position which you need. Moving forward on the head of the tool, we have the proprietary single direction brush head. To install the brush, simply line up the hole on the brush with the head of the tool and hold the power head into position so it will not rotate, and then once the brush is on top of the power head, rotate clockwise until it locks into position. To remove the brush, simply grasp the head of the tool so it will not rotate and twist counterclockwise and then pull up to remove the brush. The power scrubber includes a single brush, which is the medium strength brush. There are 2 additional brushes available for this power scrubber, one being the blue, which is the light duty, and the other one being the black, which is the heavy duty. The motor on this tool is fairly quiet and the head will only spin in one direction at a single speed. And that is a general overview of the tool. Now let's talk about why I cannot recommend anybody buying this tool. And the first of the 3 fatal flaws of this tool is the speed. The speed is good, but the problem is there's only one speed. So it's not very versatile, and so if you have a job where you are going to need more speed, or if you have a job where you need less speed, guess what? You're out of luck because you have the single speed. And in my opinion, for the price of this tool, you really should have at least 3 different speeds to choose from. Ideally, it'd be a variable speed system, but I can see how that would be rather difficult to waterproof. But at the same time, adding another button to select different speeds should have been something they should have been able to do. And the second of the fatal flaws is the brush attachment and how it attaches to the tool. Now, in general, there's nothing wrong with how it attaches to the tool. The problem is the fact that it's proprietary, and you can't use this in reverse because there's no reverse on the tool, and because of the way that the tool head is designed to keep the brush on. If the tool did have a reverse, the brush would simply fall off because it's designed to stay in place when the head is going clockwise. If it went counterclockwise, like when you remove the brush, it will just fall off and you'd be stuck with the brush falling off all the time. What they should have done was include a hex shank shaped bit holder or chuck, whatever you want to call it, on the front of the tool, and quite frankly, that would have been enough. There's already quite a few drill brushes on the market that require the 1/4 inch chuck, and it would have been a great option, and it would not have been proprietary, meaning that you would have more options between different brushes and different things you could put on the front of the tool. However, because Ryobi decided to make it a proprietary connector, means that you are limited to just 3 different kinds of brushes that you can use on this tool. They're all the exact same size, and the only difference is how strong the bristles are. And to add insult to injury, they're also expensive, costing $13 a piece. Now, that might not sound like a whole lot, but let's do some comparisons here. For $10, you can get 3 brushes over on Amazon. You can get a fairly large brush, you can get a multi-angle brush, and you can get a smaller brush for getting into tighter areas, as well as a bit extension. Now, they are smaller than what Ryobi's brush is, but at the same time, if Ryobi had decided to put a hex shank shaft adapter or connector on their brush, they could have sold that for a decent amount of money and they wouldn't have had to pay for the special engineering that went into making it. Not that I don't think that much engineering went into it, but you get the point. And it really is a shame, because if they had went with a 1/4 inch chuck, you could have used scrubber pads, multi-angle brushes, smaller regular brushes, sponges. Heck, you could even get even more creative and even use sandpaper or even metal brushes. But as it stands, you're locked in with the single tri-connector or whatever they want to call it. And that's just a shame and a disappointment. But that's not the biggest flaw. The biggest and most fatal flaw for this tool is the handle. This is by far the worst designed and worst quality handle I have seen on a Ryobi tool thus far. Granted, I haven't seen all Ryobi tools, but this is definitely the worst that I've seen. Now, what makes this handle so bad? Is it the shape? Is it the texture? No. It's the nut inside the handle which you screw the bolt into that makes it so bad. The nut is encased in soft plastic, and so when you start to tighten the bolt, it begins to egg out the soft plastic. It should have been a hard, durable plastic, not a soft plastic. I'm beginning to see a pattern in a lot of Ryobi's tools that require bolts. Now, somebody might say that I over-tightened it and that's what caused it to egg out. This is not the case. It began egging out before the handle was even tight on the shaft. The handle was still moving around freely by the time that it had egged out completely. So this is definitely either a design flaw or a material flaw. And quite frankly, I think it's both. So I don't know who at Ryobi seems to be making these mistakes with their nuts and bolts, but this is the second tool I've gotten that has had a very similar issue, the first being a blower, and quite frankly, at this point in time, I'm getting a little sick of it. When you have a company as big as Ryobi, you know that they should be spending a little bit more in their testing facilities and maybe a little bit less on their marketing. Because quite frankly, the fact this got released to the general public the way it did is a disaster. There's just too many little issues with it for it to be a good tool. Now, they did do some things right with it, like the telescoping handle, the waterproofing, and the adjustable head. But other than that, everything else on this is, which quite frankly is a disaster, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to this tool. I've been needing a good power scrubber or tool like that for quite a while. I've been using a drill with drill brushes, but I really do want something more in this form factor, and I was really looking forward to it. So I really hope that they give it another go and fix the issues that I listed here, but we'll have to wait and see. Ryobi has been making some very interesting design decisions lately, to say the least. On some of their newer HP tools, they have some good ones, but they're also making some pretty stupid design decisions too. On one of their new reciprocating saws, the area directly beneath the cutting blade is basically kind of a pocket that will fill up with dust and shavings and other debris, and it doesn't fall free, and it just adds up, and you're carrying around debris. It's a stupid design choice. And then on their drills and impact drivers, they've gotten rid of the bit holders and magnets, which are so useful, in favor of adding a crappy LED light that isn't as good as some of their older tools that had LED lights. And on the chucks on some of the newer drills, they're fairly wobbly. I'm not really sure what's happening with Ryobi because sometimes they really do hit it out of the park with a good tool. Their new Earth Auger is fantastic and I love it, and a review will be coming on that. But quite frankly, on the rest of their tools lately, I don't know. It seems like they're just making some really stupid money-saving decisions, and it's not the Ryobi that it used to be. So we'll have to wait and see if they pull out of their current funk, I guess. But I'm not going to hold my breath. And as for this tool, I'd give it a pass. I wouldn't get it for half the amount they're asking for it, and I wouldn't get it for a quarter of the amount that they're asking for it. It's not a good tool, and it's not going to last. So hopefully they'll come out with a second generation that fixes most of the issues, or maybe we'll get lucky and another company will come out with a very similar product. I would love to see something like this come from Milwaukee, Makita, or DeWalt, or another newcomer. But as it stands, I cannot recommend this tool to anybody. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And sorry that it turned out to be a rant video, but I just had to say a few things because it was really burning me up. So we'll see you later. Have a great day, or night, or evening, or midday, or tea time, or whatever time of the day it is.